Uthman ordered Quranic materials, whether written, fragment, or manuscript, or whole copies, to be burned.
To be burned. Why do you burn manuscripts?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Once he found that there are some scripts of Quran that hasn't been written correctly, in order not to
Here we go, another admission. There was
itself.
Quranic script that was not written correctly. Okay?
We've got a Muslim who confirms there is a problem with the first Quran. Therefore, second Quran was needed to be perfectly done, and Uthman does that job around 650s.
I'll say it in one word in Arabic. In Quran, it said, نحن نزلنا الذكر ونحن له حافظون. It means God will protect Quran himself.
Amazing! Allah failed to protect the Quran.
So he is claiming today that God will protect the Quran today. Do you all believe the Quran has been protected? Yes, Stay here, Saeed. We're going to show you 26 different Qurans today. We're going to show you 26 different Arabic Qurans. Arabic Qurans. Not translations. Stay right here.
Any member of this group who are in here can go and say this is being written on Quran, especially anything. But if you go to a proper Quran who is confirmed that this is the correct Quran and stamped by people who knows Quran well.
Stay right here.
Then you
We're
know
going to
that
show
there
you 26 different schools of Quran.
27.
No.
26 different,
27.
not just
Different
individuals, and these are people you know. Say, we're going to show you a little bit. We're going to prove to you that the claims that you have made are absolutely wrong. And we will see now who is lying. Stay right here, Saeed. Let's continue on. We've got a lot to do. Just watch. You listen
There
now.
are too many mosques around in the UK.
We're not talking about mosques. We're not going to talk
keep
about
it. You've got a loud
Don't change
voice.
the subject.
Let
Let's get
others.
back to it.
Go to any mosque and get Quran from them.
I did.
We're going to show you 26 different Qurans today.
I'll show it to you. I'm going to show it to you. Wait.
No, you didn't. Go to any mosque.
I'm going to show it to you.
Stay right here, Saeed. Stay right here. Don't move. We're going to prove it to you. Let's continue
Go to any
on.
mosque.
Let's continue
I did
on.
that. I did
Go to
that.
any Quran. Get that
I
copy of
did
it.
that. I did that.
And you will not. No, you didn't.
I did that.
You didn't.
I did.
Because what information you got
Saeed,
in there
stand
is not
right here.
correct.
Stand next to Daniel.
Just wait,
And then
just wait.
20 minutes later, you tell us if we don't have it.
Okay.
Don't leave, but let's go. Now, what Saeed is doing here is what Muslims have to do. He knows no different. Don't get upset with him.
No.
This is what he has been
Listen,
taught.
I will leave you to
This
it.
is what
Listen,
every Muslim has been taught. But we're going to show how wrong Saeed is. So let's continue
I'll
on.
tell you what. I'll tell you
So,
what.
as Uthman orders the...
I'll leave you
Saeed, no,
to clap for you.
Stay right here.
For your
Because you have
lies.
made a
For what I've
claim,
done to
and we're
you.
going to prove you wrong.
So, we
Are
just...
you going? Are you going? Are you leaving? Are you running away? Please don't run away. Stay here.
So, we trusted the Muslim.
Now, can you see why he has to go? I can understand. This is embarrassing for him. And it's going to get more embarrassing as we go on. But this is why we have a speaker's corner. This is the only place we can do what we're going to do this afternoon. 2 weeks ago, we were thrown off the ladder. We were able to get back on the ladder last week. Show that we can do this kind of material. Everything we're going to do today comes straight out of Islamic tradition. We're going to look at the tafsir, we're going to look at the hadith, we're going to look at the sirah, and we're going to look at the Quran itself. Everything we're going to do is going to come from Saeed's own authority. You can see now why he had to walk away. Let's continue.
So, as Uthman orders the Quran to be rewritten in perfect forms, he orders it to be written in the Quraysh dialect. It is written to be in Quraysh dialect, and he orders everything to be burned. Everything to be burned.
So already you can see there's a real problem here.
So,
you only burn manuscripts if they don't agree.
So
Am I
what-
correct?
Yes.
Yep. Otherwise you leave them be so that we can look at them today. The fact that we don't have any of these manuscripts today shows that every one of them was different. Now, what Muslims will tell you, like Saeed said, these are nothing more than different recitations, different readings. Okay, let's continue on. We agree with him, don't we? There were different readings.
Yes, there were different readings. So,
I'm busy. I'm just opening the door to you. You can walk right in now. Because that's exactly why we're here today. To talk about these different readings. They're called ahruf. They're called qira'at. Are you all familiar with these two words?
So what happens is, when we look at the Islamic tradition, Uthman, who is caliph, who never met Allah, who never had any conversation with angel, finds it's all right to bring the Quran only in one dialect, only in one recitation. So today we don't know, and we will never know actually what Muhammad received.
We will not know.
We will never know, because thanks to Uthman, he ordered everything to be burned, and thanks to Islamic tradition, we see it's confused, and more confused.
More confusion and more confusion. Now, we are now going to start to go into these recitations.
Yeah.
Now, you're our Arab friends. I have had 2 years of Arabic, but I am not an Arab expert, am I? Yes. Say no, I'm not an Arab expert. Don't say yes. You have heard me read Arabic. I can read and write Arabic, but I am not an expert. Is Hatun an Arab expert?
Yes.
No, she's not.
No, she's
now
not.
listen to what I'm saying, John. You need to help us here. Don't just say yes to everything I say. Is she an Arab expert?
No.
Am I an Arab expert? Are you an Arab expert?
He's Arabic speaker.
Are you an Arab native speaker?
Yes.
Is this your language?
Yes.
So we're going to use him. But you didn't do this research, did you? No, you did none of this research. The research we're going to show you today does come from Arab experts.
Yes.
Because we're going to look at Quranic material. Now, go ahead. Let's back up.
Yeah, let's just summarize. When we look at the Islamic tradition, in what happened in the time of Muhammad regarding were there different Arabic Qurans or not, Islamic tradition tells us, yes, there were different Arabic Qurans. We read it from Sahih Bukhari, and then we see there are people who are disagreeing what is the correct Quran regarding the Surah 25. Would you like to read it for us, Jay?
Yeah, let me read it. In fact, I'll read it from here. So just tell me what page we're on.
In him.
What did Muhammad say?
No, yeah.
I was about, during the time of Allah's apostle, I listened to his recitation and noticed that he recited in several different ways what Allah's apostle had taught me. I was about to jump over him during his prayer, but I controlled my temper. And when he had completed his prayer, I put his upper garment around his neck and seized him by it and said, "Who taught you this surah which I heard you recite?" He replied, "Allah's apostle taught it to me." I said, "You have told a lie, for Allah's apostle has taught it to me in a different way from yours." So I dragged him to Allah's apostle and said to him, "I heard this person reciting Surah Al-Furqan, which is Surah 25, in this way, which you haven't taught me." On that, Allah's apostle said, "Release him. Recite it, O Hisham." Then he recited in the same way as I heard him reciting to me. Allah's apostle then said, "It was revealed in this way. The Quran has been revealed to be recited in 7 ways."
Oh.
7 different ways.
What we have, Jay, 2 people are reciting the same surah, Surah 25. And one of the listener who listens to Surah 25 gets very upset with what he hears. But he wants to grab this guy from his neck, but he's patient enough to wait until prayer finishes. Soon after prayer finishes, he grabs this guy to Muhammad. Muhammad listens to the prayer. They are 2 different prayer, 2 different surah, and Muhammad says both of them are all right.
Okay.
So far, in the time of Muhammad, we've got people who are reciting the same surah in different ways.
Okay, let me ask you a question here. You are saying their two companions were reciting Quran. When there was no manuscript, how they were reciting?
There you
Memorized.
go. So what were they reciting?
Yes. And
That's a good question.
how they were reciting?
That's a good question. That's a question.
reciting the Surah in the
People
prayer.
memorize the Surah 25 from Muhammad.
Go ahead. Give us the answer.
People memorize
give
the
us the
Surah.
answer.
Quran didn't only compile. There are two ways how the compile.
Actually, we do
one
know
is the
that there
oral
was-
way, and one is the written way.
Okay, was there a written Quran at this time?
Wait a second. I know you have 26 Quran here. 1 year on, you haven't debated that 26 Quran with Mansoor and other Muslim scholars. You don't have any courage to debate with that.
We're here.
They have,
We're here.
They have 1 hour video how the Quran was compiled.
And they didn't give any of the dates on it.
Listen to me now.
He didn't put any
You
dates
tell
in.
me
We're going to show
when
you the
there is a
dates.
oral-
Okay,
here we go,
how
Amjad.
oral compilation
Very clearly.
works.
So,
So,
where
that's the
was
question.
this
When-
Quran and where were the recitations?
Just move.
Were they
When-
oral or were they written
No,
down?
When
You should talk
Surah
about Bible like that,
25,
which is totally changed.
when
and
Surah
it is not
25
reliable at all.
recited differently, Muhammad's response to that was, it's all right because Quran is revealed to me in 7 different ways.
Thank you very much.
Okay, 7 different ways. Have you caught that? 7 different ways we already now know at the time of Muhammad. Now can you see why Uthman had to bring down one text? He needed to take it from those 7 down to 1. Am I correct?
Yes.
We need to move on. He needed to take it from 7 down to 1. So Uthman now decides to use only one Qurayshi text.
So,
remember,
in
we just
2000
read it. You weren't here when we read it.
You didn't understand
In
the question.
2017, we
Quran didn't
shouldn't
only come
have
from
any other
Islamic
Quran.
It comes from oral tradition as well.
Which one?
That you need to discuss
Which oral
here.
tradition?
Okay, let's
It is
let's
started
do
with
this.
Prophet
How do you
Muhammad
know
and-
what
and
the
is
oral?
still going
How do you
on.
know what the oral Quran
The
is?
Ramadan just
If it
finished.
Where do you find whether the oral Quran is correct? You need to have a written Quran, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, you could have one Quran, you could have another one, you could have 30 different Qurans memorized, but you need to have a written one as a standard text.
No,
Am I correct?
Here's the question. Here's the
Quran didn't
question.
compile through written.
If it is-
Quran compiled through oral
So,
compilation.
if it is the
Then it
oral
becomes
way,
written.
if it is
That
the
you
oral
don't
Do
way,
you all get this?
That you don't
Help
understand.
Amjad here to get it, okay?
started with a
He's having a hard time getting it.
Okay.
But can you all understand it? Can you see, if you're going to have an oral Quran, that means anybody can memorize whatever they want.
Okay.
But how do you know which is the real Quran?
Exactly.
It has to be written down.
Exactly.
So
Is it-
where is that written text?
If it is the oral Quran, is it Umar's oral Quran or is it Hisham's oral Quran? Because they are reciting 2 different Qurans. So which is the correct one? We will never know. We will never
That you
know.
don't understand.
We understand it
It's not like
perfectly.
Bible, my friend.
We don't even know where there was any oral Quran. Do you believe there was an oral Quran? How can you believe it or disbelieve it?
Oh, really?
It makes no sense.
That's how the revelation
Here
comes
we
to
go.
the Prophet.
Because
And that's how the
what
revelation
is
comes to
Abu Bakr's
Muslims.
Quran?
And that
What
exactly
is
the
the
revelation
Quran of
comes to
Abu Bakr
Jesus.
if it wasn't written down?
So,
Not
if,
like your Bible
Amjad,
written by Mark,
Sir,
Matthew and Luke and
sir,
John.
if it is oral Quran, can you please kindly recite Surah 25 in Hisham's version, also in Umar's version? I would love to know which oral tradition you are going to use to recite Surah
She's giving you
25
2 oral traditions
in
right now.
Umar's
Recite them
or
right now.
Hisham.
You can.
Which one?
Can
First of
anybody?
all, you should have
Amjad won't be able to begin that.
expert in the things you
Okay,
are talking
Hatu,
about.
Hatu,
But two,
can
you just
anybody
give
do
the
what you
example.
just asked?
You just give
No,
the example.
no.
Is there such a thing as an Umar tradition and a Hisham tradition?
No, but we read from the tradition. Umar and Hisham are disagreeing for the Surah 25. So,
That's the question. How they were different?
that's the
Oh, they were
question.
no manuscript.
It is the oral tradition.
Thank
so
you very much.
which one is the correct? Which oral tradition
They went
made
to
it
the
to the
And the
Bible?
board recited
So the Quran.
by
Which
their
oral
memory,
tradition
and
made it
Prophet
to
said,
the
"You are
Quran?"
both right.
Do you hear what I'm
Thank you
just
very
saying?
much.
These are
I
2
get you,
different
I get
oral
you.
traditions. These are 2 different oral traditions. That means there's 2 different Qurans.
Yeah, Prophet
They
said-
both come to Muhammad. They both recite it in front of Muhammad, and Muhammad says both are correct.
Recitation. You
So
just told
can
that.
you now
So
see
Prophet
then
Muhammad said
why
you both are
Uthman
both right.
needed to bring it down to 1
Yes.
tradition, 1 recitation? And how many were there? How many did we just read that Muhammad said there were? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 different oral traditions.
And he said to both, you are both
Okay,
right.
Amjad, did these 7 exist? Did these 7 exist at the time of Muhammad?
Sorry?
Did
not,
they-
not in written form, no. Not in
Did
manuscript form.
these 7 oral traditions exist at the time of Muhammad?
I think yes.
Yes.
Okay?
Where they
Okay, here we go.
exist,
We
where
got
they
that much from him.
exist in the time of Abu Bakr. Was the 7 recitations, 7 oral tradition was existed at the time of Abu Bakr.
Yes,
The
Yes.
companions were alive.
because while Muhammad was alive,
The
Abu
companions were
Bakr
alive,
comes
they know
after.
Quran by heart.
Was it existed in the time of Umar?
Yes,
Yes. Was it existed in the time of Uthman?
Yes.
yes.
Was it existed after time of Uthman?
No!
No.
That's the problem!
I don't know. Listen.
What do you
in
mean
the
you
Battle
don't know?
of
We
Yamama,
just read it.
You know,
Uthman wrote one tradition.
Battle of
He only
Yamama
brought it down to one tradition.
Listen, man,
The
listen.
Qurayshi
You would
dialect.
understand this.
The
Listen to
Qurayshi
it, yeah?
dialect. Thank you. We
Listen to
finally
it,
got
you
him to.
understand
It's
it.
taken us 10 minutes for him to finally agree
In the
with us.
Battle of
Let's move on.
Yamama, lot of companions
You've
were
just
died.
made our point.
Uthman compiled the Quran in 7 different
So
copies.
by the
No, no,
time
no, no.
of Uthman,
There was a
there
oral
should be
tradition
only
as well.
one Quran, right?
Yes.
20 years after Muhammad died, he died in 632. Uthman compiles the final Quran in 652. 652.
There were many people who are alive who know Quran by heart,
he did.
by memory.
Oh, so there was many
There
Qurans.
cannot be a difference.
There was many
There
Qurans.
cannot be a
Now.
difference like
Are they the
unlike
same as Uthman's Quran?
Bible, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so now we finally
that
come
change
to
don't
one
come
single
inside the
Quran.
Quran.
Admitted that
And
Bible
all the
is
other ones were burnt. Now, here he is. You just read in Sahih Bukhari that he burnt the other Qurans.
He was eating
Did he burn
and
people?
drinking, and after that
No,
he was
he burned the
going to
Quran.
toilet.
So he burnt
Writings.
written Qurans.
Yes.
These are written manuscripts that he burnt. You don't burn people.
talking
You
about
burn
dialogue.
manuscripts.
That's what
Yeah,
Uthman
but
did.
why? Why?
Because they were different. Why do you burn manuscripts?
Because he compiled 7 copies of
He chose
Quran.
one dialogue. So what is the problem?
Okay, here we go. All right, now.
That's why
Yeah, talk about you, Jesus Christ. He was eating and drinking. This is most important. He was eating and
Here we go.
drinking. And after that,
Okay, here we go. He wants to change the subject. They always want to change the subject when we curse in the Quran. So let's move on. We're running out of time. We're going to keep going. So what happens next?
You are
He
talking
then
about
takes
dialogue.
that
He
fame,
chose
that one
and he left
final
6.
Quran.
So,
Listen up,
what is
Judge.
the problem?
He takes that one final Quran and he sends it out to every
One
province.
perfect.
Yeah.
So how many provinces were there?
Nine perfect, but
About 9
9
different-
provinces.
Yes.
And what are they? Basra, Baghdad,
No.
Damascus,
Not same.
Jerusalem,
Different.
Cairo,
Alexandria.
Alexandria,
dialogue,
Egypt,
the dialogue.
Herat,
The
and
dialogue.
Nishapur. 9 provinces.
Yeah.
9 Qurans to 9 provinces, and with each Quran, he sent somebody
Yes.
who was a teacher, somebody who had memorized that Quran.
Yes.
So you have 9 men going to 9 cities at the time of Uthman with 9 manuscripts.
Yeah. When
Just like
we
the
look at the
people who
Islamic
took the-
tradition, we see Islamic
The same
tradition is a bit
thing happened
confused
with the
because
guy- with
some
the
people say
Christian.
it has
They
been sent to
took
the 4 cities.
a lot of
Some
man
people
took the
say it's
angel
been sent to
to
the
the
6
whole of
cities,
the world.
5 cities,
So
8
what is
cities.
Okay, I'm judge.
But we know
Where
that
are
are not
those 9 manuscripts?
Even
Where are the 9 manuscripts?
different dialogue in the Bible.
Where are
Were you
they?
here last week?
Dialogue. in
We
Jerusalem,
destroyed those manuscripts last week. There's not one of those manuscripts that exists today. We can't find one of the manuscripts today. You better not use the top copy. That's the 8th century. You better not use the Ma'il. That's early 8th century. You better not use the Husayni. That's late 9th century. You better not use a Petroponus. That's early 8th century. You better not use a Sada. That's early 8th century. Not one of the major manuscripts is from the 7th century. They only begin to appear in 705. Muhammad died in 632. Uthman canonized the Quran in 652. You've got a problem. We can't even find one of the manuscripts.
On this topic.
But it gets worse than that, doesn't
It
it?
does. It does.
Okay, here we go. So now we know none of those those manuscripts exist today?
Yes. So around 650s, from 650s, there should be only one Arabic Quran. Okay? That's why Muslim tells us there is only one Quran and everyone memorizes the same thing. But when you look at the Islamic tradition, actually there are more than one Quran.
There are more than what?
More than one Quran.
So there are quite a few Qurans, you're
Yes.
saying.
Yes.
So what you're going to show us today is that today, even today, in 2017, she, Hatun, has been able to collect 26 different Arabic Qurans. We're going to show them to you right now. We're going to show you these 26 Qurans.
Oh, really?
So stay right here, because we're going to hold them up for you.
I saw that last summer. Don't worry. How many? And you still didn't debate that. We're ready.
Are you ready?
Have the courage to debate.
I want you guys to see these 26 Qurans.
Let's go through them, Jay.
Put it around the side. You don't even know how to grab it.
David.
Okay, I want all of you with Qurans to come in front here. Come stand in front here.
He left the Bible. He was
It's 27,
Yes, that's the 20. That's Hafs one.
You're dropping.
That's fine. I'll get them.
Okay, while they're bringing this up, let me give you some background. Hatun has gone around to the Arab-speaking world. Now, Hatun is not an Arab speaker. I am not an Arab speaker. I read and write Arabic, but I do not speak Arabic. She is from Turkey. But what we're going to show you today, Muslims are not going to tell you. This is material that no Muslim wants you to know about. We're going to show you not one, not two, 26 Arabic Qurans. These are not translations. These are not English translations. These are not Turkish translations. Every one of these are Arabic Qurans.
There you go.
I want you to hold them up.
Don't even know how to
Amjad, look.
Look at this. Look at this.
Amjad,
Look at this.
look.
Okay, shall we go through them, Jay?
Now hold these up. And what do we now know about these Qurans?
Nothing.
So,
Amjad says there's nothing. Now, Amjad, do all these Qurans agree with each other?
no.
Are there two Qurans that agree with each other? No. Is there even one Quran that agrees with the Quran we have here today? No. This is the Quran we use today.
It's the same Quran.
This is not the same Quran as these ones we have here today.
We've got 26 Arabic Qurans, and we've got Hafs Quran as the 27th one.
Whatever you like.
Oh, which one? No, you bring it back.
Okay, you can see the Muslims are starting to get upset now. It's understandable why they're upset. This is normal. Muslims have not heard this before. And everything we're going to share with you next.
Which one is Quraysh dialect? Which one is Quraysh dialect? Which one? Which one? Give it to me.
There is no Quraysh dialect.
No, I will say this is my book. I will say this is my book. One is my book.
Which one is it?
Okay.
Which one is it?
Which one?
Which one? They're all the same. They're all the same. Okay, Hatun, help us now. Let's unpack. Let's unpack, and I want the Muslims to keep quiet for a minute. I want the Muslims to keep quiet so we can say what's going on here.
There are 27 Arabic Qurans out here. One of them is the Hafs Quran. One of them is the Hafs Quran. So we've got 26 Arabic Qurans. They are all different from one another, and all of them are born from the Quraysh dialect. all of them are born from the Croatian dialect.
Okay,
So
so every one of these Qurans, are you listening? Every one of these Qurans comes from the Croatian dialect. But there's a problem. Not one of these Qurans that we're holding up is the same as the other Quran.
That's it.
Every one of them is written in Arabic.
We are proud of our Quran and its compilation.
You're gonna not be proud after today.
Unlike your Bible, which you are ashamed
Okay,
of.
Hatu.
Every time
I want you to explain what's going on here.
So,
We are proud of our Quran.
we've got
Millions of people know it by heart.
Which Quran are you reading?
other side, okay? So, we've got a Quran. Let's just go through them one to one, okay?
100 Bibles. 100 Bibles.
More than 100.
Now, do you notice? These are not translations. None of these are translations. Every one of these are Arabic Qurans that you can buy today. You can go and buy them yourself. They're available for everybody. But do you notice you will find many of them will have different colors? Do you see the red there? Yep. Do you see the red there? Yes. Do you see the red there? Yes. Every time you see a red word, that is a variant from this Quran that I have here, the Hafs Quran. This is the Quran you're looking for. This is Al-Duri's Quran. Every time you see a red word, it is different from this Quran here. Now, tell me, Al-Duri, how many differences have you been able to find?
Which Al-Duri is this?
Al-Duri, next to Al-Duri 4645.
Okay, so in this Quran, we've got 4,645 variations versus Hafs Quran.
Okay, do you hear what she's saying? In just this Quran, this is Al-Duri's Quran. His date is from 860. Al-Duri is from the 9th century. This Quran from the 9th century has over 4,000 manuscript variants from the Quran we have today. 4,000 differences.
4,645.
Now, why have you Muslims not told us this
Which
before?
manuscript are you checking?
Why is you Muslims have not said this
Which
before?
manuscript are you checking?
This is just one of 26. He says, show me. We're now showing you. Every time you see a red mark, that is a variant.
And they said we should just
Look
only
here.
one book.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 variants in just these 2 pages. From your Quran, that is different from the Quran we're using today. This is the Hafs Quran.
You don't know. So you don't know this topic. Forget it.
Duri is what?
Don't come with vowels. It's a simple Arabic.
These is not vowelization.
And you don't know.
The vowels are right there. There's the Dhamma, there's the Kasra, there's the Kasra down here. Of course they have vowels. Read it again.
In the original
They have vowels
In the
there.
original
It
manuscript.
is
In the
9th
written, we're
century.
showing you the written one.
This is 9th century.
This is the written book.
my God.
Look at, there's a Kasra, there's a Kasra, there's a Dhamma. It has vowelization.
Oh my God. And this is called variant.
And this is what the Muslims do not want you to know. There is not one Quran, even today.
Talk about your angel. Bible.
That's just what.
That's Quran number 1. This is Al-Duri's Quran. Contains 4,645 variations to the Hafs Quran.
Okay, here's another one.
To the back. This goes to the back. Listen, it goes to the back. Put it back. That number 11 goes to the back.
Alight Ibn Khalid. Alight Ibn Khalid. Look, I open up to any page. Can you see the blue words? Every time you see a blue word, that is a manuscript variant.
You will find the same.
Ahruf Hiya, you say. They believe that this is just recitation. Folks, we're going to show you this is much more damaging than recitation. Every time you see a blue word, that is a different word than the Quran we use today. How many variants?
This is Al-Lahit Ibn Khalad's Quran. It is differences from the Hafs in 5,000 words.
5,000 words that are different in this Quran
to the
and
Hafs
the
Quran.
Quran we're using today. 5,000 words difference between these two Qurans.
He's hiding. He's
Daniel,
Trying to go to the line. He already doesn't want to defend it.
Here is another Quran. This is Shuba ibn Ayas Quran. It is 504 differences from the Hafs
Shuba
Quran.
ibn Ayas has 504 differences between this book and this book that we have here, the Quran we're using today.
There is a lot of version not said.
This is another Arabic Quran. This is Yaqub's Quran. It is different in 1,765 areas with the Hafs Quran.
So this one was written in 805, early 9th century. It is 1,700 words that are different in this book than the Quran we're using today. Every time you see a variant here, they even write the variants in the margins.
When you hide that and you are speaking
Now,
about that,
Hatu,
you are.
You don't know Arabic. If you read
Muslims will say,
I read it. I know.
if you look at this graph here, we're going to put this graph up on the screen.
7 versions.
We will show you this graph.
Okay.
Hatu, these are different cities, right? There you can see Mecca. There you can see Medina. There you can see Damascus. There you can see Kufa. And here you can see Basra. 5 different cities. Each one had a scholar go to these cities. Don't wait. Each one had a scholar go to these cities, right? Those scholars had students. Those students wrote their own Quran, did they not?
Yes.
And each student had variations from the Quran we're using today.
Yes.
Let's go and just give a few examples.
Okay, for example, Al-Bazi is the student of Ibn Kathir who was in Mecca. Al-Bazi is disagreeing with the Hafs Quran in 1,094 words.
So Al-Bazi disagrees with the Hafs Quran in 1,094 differences.
Yes. And then we've got Kumbal Quran. Al-Bazi is disagreeing with Kumbal in 312 different words.
So even between the two students, they disagreed with each other in over 300 places.
Yes.
I was speaking.
And then in Kufa, we've got Hamza's Quran. He's got two students, Khalaf and Khalaf.
So we have Khalaf and Khalaf, students of Hamza, and then even Khalaf disagrees with himself how many times?
So Khalaf has 2 Qurans. One of them contains 2,629 variations. Other Quran contains 2,892 variations.
So you have one student that writes 2 different Qurans, and one has
It is
2,800
attribute to the
variations.
hymn. It is attribute to the hymn.
So you can see, he did not even agree with himself.
Yeah. And
Can you
then,
see why this is so damaging?
You want to debate on
Can you
Mansoor
see
on
why this is so
and then-
damaging?
You want to debate
and then we
Mansoor on
look at the students' writings, comparing them. We say students are agreeing with one another in 601 words.
Okay, can you then see, while these are hundreds and thousands of difference, and these happen from city to city to city. Look at the dates. These dates are the 9th century, not the 7th century. So the Quran is changing even as late as 200 years. 200 years after Muhammad, they're still coming up with new Qurans.
So here is what we've got. Looking at the, not all of the 26 yet,
20th century, yeah?
looking at those Qurans, Qurans tell us they are disagreeing with Hafs Quran in 45,339 words.
So when you add up all these differences between the 26 Qurans,
You can put them in the bag.
Hatu has already found 45,000